Hello, everybody. Jason, I'm Noise Revolution Cave. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to all. Is that even really a thing? Happy Monday? I don't think so. I'm eating some kind of rare Asian ice cream. The children went to the Asian market today, one of the Asian markets that we have. My son, Liam, is obsessed with Asian cuisine. So they go to the Asian market and they buy all this stuff. And it's all fantastic for the most part. Like weird drinks and stuff. And they found these ice creams. And I don't know, they had like a weird fruit coating over them. And then when you bust through the coating, you just get the ice cream. And they come in these brilliant little holders so you don't get ice cream all over yourself. So I'm just going to finish this for a minute. And then we're going to do the power hour. So you can just tune in to me eating ice cream. Got some, mommy? Got some, mommy? How do I get the rest out of here? Oh. All right, it's gone. There we go. Asian ice cream. Who would have thought they'd have ice cream? Power hour. What's the power hour? Well, it's where you ask questions, I answer them. You get to be a part of the show. Is this the cleanly, proper thing to how to clean your face with the back of your hand like that? You know how many kids' arms probably smelled horribly in like second grade because they just walked around doing that all day? Dried snot on their arms and stuff. The power hour is your chance to be a part of the show. You ask a question, I answer it. And that's it, really. That's how it goes. If you want to ask questions, you send them to me through email. Lots of different ways. Lots of different emails. JasonNup76@gmail.com. Jason_Nup@yahoo.com. Whatever. There's a couple ways to get a hold of me. Most of you already know that. If you do have a question, please send it in. Nothing off limits, folks. We will answer most questions. Most questions we'll answer here on the big show. My man Bale. He has been around for a while. Constant commenter. Good fella. Over there in the UK, I believe. He says, glad to have you back, mate. Got some questions for you. Well, it's glad to be back. He calls me Jace. Hi, Jace. Jas. That's interesting because he and my dad are the only ones that ever called me Jace. So congratulations, sir. You are in a class of 2 people who call me Jace. We've got a couple of questions here. Let's do, should we do the tough one first? Or the softballs? Let's do the softballs first. He says, what's your favorite and worst Friday the 13th? I think you have mentioned this before, but I have just revisited all of them again, and I'm interested to know. As I have been watching them consistently, when I'm bored and I don't have a desire to crack open a new movie or an old movie or anything, I'll just bust out the giant Shout Factory or Scream Factory box of my Friday the 13th, and I'll just start watching them at 1 again. That's the crazy part of this. This is how I watch Friday the 13th. Oh, I'm going to watch them all. This is going to be great. Then I watch 1 and 2, and then I don't watch any more for about 3 months, and then I go back and I rewatch 1 and 2 in hopes that 3, 4, and so on will follow. I guess I have to say, it's so hard not to love a Friday the 13th that actually has the masked Jason Voorhees in it, as we know and love him. But 1 and 2 are my favorites. I like 1 a lot. Probably because I visited the filming locations of 1, and it's just a special movie. And it's not even a Jason Voorhees movie. It's obviously Mrs. Voorhees. But I just love part 1 so much, and I love part 2 a lot. Part 1 and part 2 are very, very similar movies. They're basically the same, the campground and all that. But I like part 5 also. 5 is, I don't want to get it wrong, but I like when Tommy Jarvis, it's Jason Lives. I like Jason Lives. I don't know if it's 5 or 6. Tommy Jarvis, the third Tommy Jarvis that we've ever had in the movie, and his friend have the all-time worst, just the worst decision making in scary movie history. They go dig up Jason Voorhees, and then Tommy pulls, with superhuman strength, pulls a welded iron bar off of an iron cemetery fence, right? Because it's old, and of course you can just rip it off. So he rips it off, and then he stabs it. He stabs the carcass of Jason Voorhees, and the maggots are running in and out of Voorhees' face, and they're falling off of him, all the maggots, because Tommy Jarvis really wants to kill him, really wants to make sure he's dead. So digging him up and seeing his body in the grave wasn't enough. He had to. So then, of course, the iron rod is sticking up. Lightning hits it, brings Voorhees back to life. Now, why is that one so special? It's not a... I bet you guys missed that. It's not a Academy Award-winning movie. It's just one that I saw in the theater. I saw that one in the theater with my mom and 2 sisters. I've told that story before. So that one has a special place. And I like that movie. I like the cop and the cop's daughter, and I like the cop kill in that movie, how Jason bends the cop backwards at the waist and kills him that way, just crushes him in half. I like that. So 1 and 2 I love. I used to like Jason Takes Manhattan a lot, and I just don't anymore. I don't like the principal guy, I forget his name, but I don't like him at all. The principal dude in that movie, he's annoying. But Manhattan's good. Least favorite, he says. My least favorite. You would think that I would say Jason X, right? And that is not my least favorite. I think Jason X is cool. I love it. I think it's fine. We're not getting serious about this stuff here, so it's a cool twist on what else could they do. My least favorite, believe it or not, is Jason versus Freddy. What a waste, every horror fan's dream main event match, Jason versus Freddy, happens, and it happens so poorly. I think there's a lot of good scenes in that movie that get you like, ooh, pumped up, where they're about to fight and the fire's going and all that. But the way I just don't like the movie. I don't like how it happens. I don't like the concept of Freddy's. How was it? Freddy's not he's not a problem because nobody's thinking about him, because they're all thinking of Jason, or or the world created this med to prevent you from dreaming, which is okay. That's okay. That I like. But what I don't like about that movie is how these knucklehead kids all figured it out within like the first 25 minutes of the movie about why Freddy is waiting to come back and why Jason is. These dumb kids in a van were like, oh, I've got it. And I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the characters. I don't like Monica Keena or Keen. I don't like that Ritter kid. Jack Tripper's son. John Ritter's son. I don't know. It just wasn't, it felt like an episode of Dawson's Creek to me. I don't know. But so then that leads to the next question of where would you want the franchise to go if they ever made another film? And that hurts my feelings to even think about because I don't want them to make another film. I don't want them to make another film. And the reason why is because I just hate modernness. And I think that's why I didn't like Freddy versus Jason, because I didn't like the kids. I didn't like even though they were doing the same thing as Kevin Bacon and the crew were doing in part 1 and part 2 and part 3 and part 4 and every other part, they were doing the same stuff. You know, the sex and the drugs and the rock and roll, and they were doing the same stuff. I just didn't like them as people. I didn't like them, right? I could put up with the punks of the 1970s and 1980s versus the punks of 2000. I can't deal with that. And or the late 90s, whenever Freddy vs. Jason was made. So if they make one today, we've got to deal with the punks of 2024 and their crap. And ultimately, they're going to get killed. Sure, that's great. But I just don't care about them. I don't want to see scenes where people are vaping and, I don't know, girls are making out. I don't care, right? It's dumb. It's dumb. I want the purity of punks in the 70s and 80s, right? I want my pure, innocent punks versus my today's punks. So I wouldn't want it to be made. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't like any of the kids. I wouldn't like any of the characters. And I don't know. And then I'm afraid they're going to ruin it by killing Jason or something. Like the punks of 2024 can kill Jason off. I don't like that. So I'm good with Freddy never coming back. I'm good with Jason never coming back. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I know that there's some talks of a prequel TV show being made. And as long as if it's a prequel, it's going to be in the early 70s or so. Isn't that when this all started? So I guess if we have the 70s and 80s, the 70s scenery and the 70s look and the 70s, obviously it's not going to be 70s actors, but if they make them look like 70s, I think maybe I'd like it a little bit more. I just don't like when we get our modern fingers on stuff and ruin it, because I don't like us. So, yeah. Now the tough one, he says, how are you dealing with the cost of living keep going up? It seems every time I go into a shop, the price of stuff has gone up, at least over here. So we talked about this. So this was a topic that created quite a stir on the channel. I brought up inflation several months ago, and it immediately turned into a political conversation. I tried to quiet that because that wasn't the topic, and that didn't go so well. And all kinds of ugly stuff started. That's all over with. So the question is not about the question is not a political question. Okay, so I don't care who you think is the reason for inflation. The question is, how are you dealing with the cost of living going up? Okay, how am I dealing with the cost of living going up? It's not great. I don't go, so the way the money is in this house is I make it all. And I don't have any, so I have a bank account and my money goes into the bank account. And I have a ATM card or a Visa debit card or whatever. The children's mother has a card. She goes grocery shopping. I don't know how much she bought. I don't go and check and see how much. So I assume that we're spending a lot more on food and, but I don't check. So I don't know how much food prices have gone up. However, one of the things that have affected us the most with this cost of living going up is we don't go out to restaurants anymore. As a family, we don't go out anymore. And 3-4 years ago, I was such a fan of restaurants and going out to eat. It would probably happen twice a week, just as a surprise and then as like a planned event. But we don't do it anymore because the prices of restaurant food is absurd and difficult to justify. It started in my area with chicken wings. Chicken wing prices have almost tripled here at restaurants, and you get less. So forget the days of a dozen chicken wings. There are no more dozen chicken wings. Now, if you get a dozen, you're getting 10. So that's your big order of 10 chicken wings. Most places that I've gone to now give you 6 wings. And what you're paying for 6 chicken wings is insanity. It's insanity. When I was at the Anchor Bar this weekend by myself, the plate of 10 chicken wings was $19.99. So it was $20 for a plate of 10 wings. And that's crazy. That's crazy. So we don't go out to eat anymore because a family of 4 is going to spend $100 when you go out to a restaurant. I get really annoyed at the cost of beverages when you go and you order a meal that's already overpriced, at $23.99, and then your drink is $2.79 on top of that or more. I just don't like that. I mean, it's a vat of soda that you're pulling a lever and you just filled up my cup with half ice and you're charging me $2.79 for it. We're never, unless we work in the restaurant industry, we're never going to know the cost to, well, I guess it's cost to benefit, but not really. We're never going to know the markup. We're never going to know what restaurants profit from charging us massive amounts of prices. So I think I think we were all accepting of price changes during COVID. And I think we all just haven't snapped out of it yet. And the only way I've snapped out of it is I don't go out to eat anymore. I'll take myself out, but even that's slowing down a lot. I'm a big fan of the Chinese buffet. It's kind of my vice. I'm not going to do it much anymore. The lunches that used to be $7.99 are now $14.99 when you go out to lunch at the Chinese buffet. And forget about dinner. That's going up to $17, $18. Take 4 people with you. And, you're at $65, $70 for $80 for Chinese buffet. It's changed, and that's unfortunate. And I really struggle to imagine restaurants surviving this, but they are. They are. You drive down one of the busier streets near where I live, 10 minutes from where I live. You go up and down that street. It's like restaurant alley, and it's the mall is there, and all kinds of car dealerships. And during the summer, you see the parking lot's full, and people are all eating outside. And if that's what you like to spend your money on, even if the price goes up, that's cool. But I don't, because especially since I got sick with my throat and food became so not important, I'm not gonna. We don't go out to eat anymore. We'll order in occasionally. We'll go out for stuff that you can't get. That's not normal food, like regular food that you can make yourself. So we'll go out sometimes for Indian food. We'll go out for, there's a Korean restaurant that we'll go to, but it's a reasonable priced, and we're not doing it every night. We're not even doing it every month. So definitely that. Like I said, groceries I'm not really aware of. I'm sure that cost has gone up. There are very stupid prices for things now. Deodorant, folks, and body wash, soap is stupidly expensive now. I shamefully paid $14 for a deodorant the other day. Dr. Squatch deodorant, just because I liked the way it smelled, and I paid $14 for it, and I'm ashamed of myself for doing that. Deodorant is supposed to be $3, right? It's a bottle of shower gel soap is supposed to be $3. It's not. It's $8.99 now, and that blows my mind. It's hard to understand why that's happening. The television situation. If I added it all, we boycott cable. I'm not paying $150 a month for cable. But I think if I add up my subscription services, I'm probably close to over $100 in subscription services for TV. So what's the difference? What else has gone up? I mean, thankfully, mortgage has stayed the same, obviously. Car payments are astronomical now. I don't want two vehicles, but we will have two vehicles. I don't want to pay. I pay almost $500 a month for my truck. I pay just over $300 for the children's mother's Kia. That's $800 in car payments. For what? To transport yourself from one place to another. It is what it is. I get slammed in taxes every year being self-employed. I don't pay quarterly. So at the end of the year, at the end of the tax year, I owe a massive amount of money. And that's really hard to budget for. And I never have it at the end. When it comes time to pay your taxes, I never have the money. So I just delay it and then get into some kind of weird payment plan, and it sucks. I feel like I'll always be paying income tax. What else has gone up? Well, gas we've been used to gas prices for several years now. Thankfully, I have a decent income with not even working full time. So I've been working a little bit more, instead of, I'm averaging probably 32 hours a week. So I'll get like 28 patients with insurance and then 4 self-pays or so. And the self-pay is less than what insurance pays. So self-pays are fine, but insurance pays more. Could I easily work 40 hours? Sure, I could, but then my quality of life goes down because I'm home in the morning teaching Liam, homeschooling Liam. I am home on Fridays at 2. I don't want to work. And plus, some of my people depend on a night appointment. So I have to see people at 5 and 6. If I was working 40 hours a week, I'd never be home if I was working until 7 o'clock. I'd be working 11 to 7 5 days a week. I don't want to do that. That's not quality of life for me. So financially, we're okay. I have been fortunate enough to not live paycheck to paycheck. I can't imagine what that feels like. I've done it before. It's a terrifying thing. I don't like it. So we don't live paycheck to paycheck, but just until 4 months ago, I had no retirement. I had no retirement plans. And now I'm contributing a lot to try to get semi close to the proper amount of retirement. So I'm contributing a lot per month to my own 401k or whatever. That in 20 years, if the market does what it's supposed to do, I'll have the amount that they tell you you're supposed to retire with, and I'll make it work. So we don't go out to eat. I guess that's the biggest thing that's changed. We don't go out to eat. I still try to give the kids what I can, whenever I can, which is good or bad, I don't know. But I still try to, I don't want them to be affected by it, by inflation or anything. So when they want treats and stuff, I get it from them. They've never heard, I don't have the money for that. I don't want to say that to them at this age. And I know that's a lesson that they have to learn at some point about money, and you got to save money in order to get stuff. But I never wanted them to be worried that they couldn't get something because Dad doesn't have the money. Yeah. So we don't go out to eat, and that's how we do it. And there's lots of other areas that I can cut back in, but I have no self-control and no self-discipline. I blow money on ridiculous cures for boredom, right? Boredom makes me go get a bag of Skittles and a Coke from 7-Eleven and pay $7 for it. That's boredom. I don't have to have Skittles at that moment, but that's what I want. And yes, Skittles are like $3 a bag now. Candy, nobody's buying candy anymore. You can't go buy a candy bar anymore. They're not 99 cents. They're $4 now. And that's stupid. A pack of gum. Remember when a pack of gum was a quarter? And no, not that. That's not an old man saying, in my day, gum was a quarter. Yeah, in my day, gum was a quarter. You got 5 sticks for a quarter. It's about $4 now. It's about $4. I think there's still the cheap 5-piece gum, but I think that's 50 cents now or something. But you never find it at stores. They don't sell it in stores. They only sell the expensive $4 gum. Ridiculous. We got to survive, people. Anyway, that's it. That's the Power Hour. Ask the questions, email them to me, and thank you, Bale, for your batch of questions. We will see you next time. Good night now.